Hi guys, I'm Shane Hester, and I'm going to share the story of I Am. It's letter 8 on page 65, written by Angel Props. It's a short little excerpt about the story of the molestation and rape that she experienced from her stepdad when she was as young as 9 years old, actually, I think it says in the text, which is absolutely terrible and disgusting. And it really impacted the rest of her life throughout the story, like with relationships with men and how she kind of was always scared and fearful of them kind of throughout the rest of her life. And she like had night terrors, waking up clearly from the terrible things her stepdad did to her. And the wisdom, she shares in this um, letter is kind of just the terrible life that victims really have to deal with, that they'll never really be the same as they once were before the rape or molestation. And that burden they kind of have every single day of their lives and try to move through life without thinking about what happened to them every single day. And she says just how terrible that is because it impacts all of her relationships in her life, not only with men but everything she does, and just how she can't even get out of bed every day without thinking about the smell and her stepdad's face and how it really wasn't him, and how he almost looked like a monster, almost, as she says a couple times, in the grunting and moaning, which is just obviously disgusting to even think about. And that's kind of the wisdom she shares that's like dangerous, and the fierce compassion she shares in this text is she kind of lets the reader know at the end in the last paragraph that she's there, and that there are a lot of people like her who have experienced this, and that's who she's writing to as the reader. As it starts out, it says, "Dear sister," and that you are going to have to live with this burden for the rest of your life if you really this has happened to you like it has happened to her. And as she says here, there's no shelter. Who are you able to trust? And that she experiences the same feelings. And how are you feeling today? And that really, I think, is the compassion she's showing to people who've experienced the same terror that she has experienced. And I don't know, reading this, my feelings were just, I mean, obviously it's absolutely terrible, and it just saddens me to read it. I had to read it a couple times to really understand how terrible it was and how awful the things that her stepdad did to her. And I don't know, they're just disgusting, and they disgust me. And the thing that was most shocking to me is it's hard to put yourself in their shoes because I can't even imagine it ever happening to me or someone I know, or my mom, or one of my cousins or something like that, or anybody, I guess. And it's so hard to not tell them to move on, or because you just can't feel how they're feeling, and I can't imagine having to really deal with the burden every day of that, and the memories, and yeah, I just really can't imagine that terrible feeling. And reading this has really opened up my eyes a lot to just be more open minded about that kind of thing, because it's not like I don't already feel for them, don't think it's terrible initially, but reading this really puts yourselves in their shoes and realize they struggle every day, and the terror they go through every day is absolutely devastating, and it really is sad. But I think if more people read books like this, or heard more stories like this, they could get out and make a change and make a difference, and realize how terrible these things are, and how often they happen, and how many people who we all know and walk around us every day have gone through this. So if we were more there to support them, I think this would be a lot better. So yeah, thank you.